Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining in today's reading. Today we'll be reading the continuation or the part 2 of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's Sri Dana-keli-kaumudi. Before reading, I just wanted to give some brief introduction about this book. So Sri Dana-keli-kaumudi, it's an ecstatic one-act play written by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. It describes the playful and memorable pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa demanding a tall dāna from Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī and the gopīs as they were carrying butter through the forests of Vrindavan. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, he lived between 1489 and 1564 AD, and he was a Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya and a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is one of the seniors of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. The 6 Goswamis include Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Srila Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and Srila Gopala Bhatta Goswami. And we are reading it from ISKCON Desire Tree website. And ISKCON Desire Tree is a free online resource for the devotees worldwide and the multimedia social network with a mission to spread Krishna consciousness as per the desire of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And they are doing this by providing Gaudiya Vaishnava Biographies, Vedic knowledge, teachings, and practices given by Vaishnava Acharyas. And the rights for all the content preserved here are presented or reserved by the ISKCON Desire Tree. We thank them for making this available for all of us to be able to read online. We sincerely thank their devotional service. So before starting the part 2, we're going to offer prayers to get the blessings from the Vaishnava Acharyas. Om Ajnānatimirandhasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Sri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathaṃ Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsya Namāmo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Rupa sindubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are continuing part 2 of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's Dana-keli-kaumudi. In the part 1, we concluded actually at page number 20. So in order to keep the continuation, we're just going to read the last dialogue from page 20 and continue from there. 20, last paragraph. Nandimukhi says, O King of Heroes, persons like myself who are followers of saintly and austere Purnamasi do not speak unless we know the truth for certain. If you still doubt my words, then come and see for yourselves. She takes Krishna to Radha. The obstinate prince of Gopala does not believe my words. Please be kind. Lift a little the edge of your garment, show the edge of your dress, and free yourself and your friends from the hand of this king of rapacious rascals. All the girls say, angry, fool, go, go. Nandamukhi says, smiling, why are you angry at this good advice? Krishna says, what do we lose? Krishna will not excuse even a single seat's worth of the gold that must be paid. Vishaka says aside, first I will place the messenger Vrunda before Krishna. By first offering him the flaming lamp of Vrunda, I will begin the worship of the great fire Krishna. And openly says, O King of Heroes, why for only 5 parts is the tall so great? Perhaps that is the actual tall. Still, to you, our kind and generous prince, we offer our dear friend Vrunda in place of the toll payment. Subala says, how can one Vrunda take the place of a toll of 5 billion coins? You cannot cheat us Gopas so easily. We are expert at counting. We always count our cows. Lalita says angrily, Vishaka, you are a great fool, for you wish to sell our dear friend Vrunda for so cheap a price? Madhumangala says, Lalita, this false price should stand still. Lalita says, oh Brahmana boy, listen. The demigod Indra is better than the other 33 million demigods. He is their king, and he has 1 billion gold coins in his hand. Better than him is the demigod Brahma, whose wealth lasts for many trillions of years. Better than Brahma is goddess Lakshmi, who is the goddess of all wealth. Better than Lakshmi is Vrunda, whose unprecedented wealth makes even Lakshmi seem an unimportant pauper. Even Lord Vishnu himself passionately desired to attain Vrunda. This I heard from the noble Purnamasi's mouth. Vishaka says, falling at Lalita's feet, she says in a plaintive, emotional voice, friend Lalita, you can give advice to the best of persons. Still, to free myself from this present unbearable suffering, I will do anything. Even if others think my actions are wrong. Please be kind. Please give permission that Vrunda may be offered to this Krishna. Then we may quickly purify ourselves by smelling the oblations offered in the yajna. Lalita, seeming to smile, bows her head and is silent. Vishaka says, Lalita, I know what you hint by that gesture, for one day you will allow it. Krishna says, Nandimukhi, look at this wonder. Why, I ask you, do these girl thieves not try to rob me of my dancing short-shaped earrings and use them to pay the stall? Nandamukhi says, O Radha, who bring glory to Kirtida, it is not right to give Vrunda to Krishna as payment for the stall. Radha says, friend Vrunda, why are you silent? Tell us what you think. Glancing at Vrunda's face from the corners of his eyes, Krishna sends a hint. Vrunda says, King of the snake, king of the rakes, your glances strike me in vain. Vrunda follows the queen of Vrindavan. All the girls with derisive laughter. Goddess of shyness, where have you fled? Please be merciful to us, be merciful. Vrunda says, friend, queen of Vrindavan, at this time I have a request. Radha says, friend Vrunda, what is it? Say it. Vrunda says, honest people say toll collectors are worse than people addicted to gambling. It's not right for us to stay among toll collectors. We are honest people. If these people want to collect tolls, let them do it somewhere else. Krishna says, smiling, it is true. These girls were never enjoyed by any man. That is why they are beautiful without compare. They are fit to be enjoyed by a king. This Vrinda was already enjoyed by Vishnu. He enjoyed her for a long time. That is why her beauty is all gone. What is the use of her? Radha says, laughing. The wise say, some men are brahmacharis only because they are frustrated in finding a woman. These men are horse brahmacharis. Madhumangala says, aside, Vishakha, I am a very expert accountant. Give me a bribe and I will arrange that your toll will be small. Vishakha says, noble sir, I will give you fresh sugar candy. Madhumangala says, Vishakha, you must be joking. Vishakha says, by the sun god, I promise I will give it. Madhumangala says, happily approaching Krishna, dear friend, when they were filled with jealous anger, I expertly pacified 1 billion beautiful girls. Then again, at the time of the Deepavali festival, I was the Acharya who worshipped 1 billion cows. Therefore, on the occasion of this great festival, please give me 1 billion coins as dakshina. A dakshina I have never asked for or received in the past. Smiling, Krishna is silent. Madhumangala says, aside, Vishakha, you know it is said, silence is the mark of consent. Therefore, now give what you promised. Vishakha says, smiling, take your sugar candy. She offers him some broken pieces of pottery. Madhumangala says, loudly laughing, rogue, keep your broken pottery, keep it. I will get my revenge on you. He approaches Krishna. Dear friend, why should you delay by acting gently? You should collect the toll. Krishna says, friend Madhumangala, I am like a black bee. Therefore, this girl bee Radha should be given to pay the toll. Vrinda says, the blossoming vine Champakalata is the only proper offering to be placed before the black bee Krishna. Krishna says, Vrinda, you don't understand. Only Radha should be offered to me. For even when she is spelled backwards, she is still a dhara, a stream of nectar, or dhara, a stream of nectar. Chitra says, O great hero of Gopala, you yourself said these girls are beautiful without fear. How, then, can it be right for you to take even one of these 5? Vrinda says, friend Chitra, you are glorious. With the delicate wine of your words, you have trapped the wild elephant Krishna. Madhumangala says, dear friend, when he said the toll should be increased by 100 times, the king of the gardens really meant they should be increased without limit. By taking his words literally, we have offended him. Krishna says, friend, well done, well done. Feeding your friends with food sweet like nectar, you are the ruler of the kitchen. When he said the word 100, our king did indeed mean an endless number. For in the Smriti scriptures it is said, when they cheat and deceive others for a long time, ferocious, arrogant, wealthy thieves may be punished in any way the judge decides. Lalita says, without carrying big sticks, we should not stay for even a moment in the company of these gopas. Therefore, it is right that we should carry sticks. Krishna says, even though all 5 girls are not worth as much as the toll, I will take the second one. As the moon increases, so she will increase in value. Radha says with a sarcastic laugh, alas, Vrindavan forest has now become a fearful place. The ferocious king of the elephants has now attacked Vrindavan forest, which was so pleasant for so many girls with restless eyes like Khanjana, birds, girls who picked flowers to worship the demigods. The valley by Govardhana hill was the only place we could go. Alas, even here, this highwayman, this arrogant king of the toll collectors attacks us. To whom can we call for help? Krishna says, Nandimukhi, you heard the wild arrogance of her insulting words calling me a highwayman, when in fact I am a protector of the roads, a protector famous for his purity. For her offense, I will now punish her by squeezing her tightly in my arms. Nadimukhi says, standing before him, she stops him from doing that. Ferocious fighter, I am a follower of austere Purnamasi. You cannot squeeze this saintly girl before my eyes. Krishna says, I am the son of a king of cow pastures. I am the crest jewel of teenage boys. How can I overlook the great heat that comes from the arrogance of these wild girls? Lalita says, Krishna, you speak the truth. You do not offend. By the unprecedented mercy of the goddess of tall collecting, very quickly you are wonderfully learned in the science of being the most expert rogue. Krishna says arrogantly, you refuse to pay the toll and then you insult the toll collector. I think you want to start a battle on the rugged slopes of Govardhana Hill. Radha says, charming boy, how much must we tolerate? It is said, when the wood is rubbed again and again, fire is born even from sandalwood. No one can place the blame on us. Krishna says, what is the use of all these clever words? Words that fool only the foolish. Goddess, please be kind. Either pay the toll I wish or fight. Vrinda says, you are famous as a warrior. How can these weak girls fight with you? Krishna says, oh girl who walks in the forest, you don't even know the truth about yourself. Look, these doe-eyed girls are each one a great army of Kamadeva. Their broad hips are Kamadeva's chariots. Their splendid motions are Kamadeva's warriors riding on elephants. Their graceful feet are Kamadeva's foot soldiers. Their curling hair is Kamadeva's conch shell trumpeter. Radha says, clever Krishna, now I see your toll collecting was only a trick on us, saintly girls. Why need I say anything more? Protected by my friends, I will now go to the yajna. Krishna says, girl with the restless eyes, the heavy toll has you in its grip. How can you gain the power to leave? Champakalata says, did Kamsa really appoint you to collect tolls? Krishna says, Champakalata, I am in truth the toll collector. I am not very satisfied with your failure to pay the toll. Therefore, please allow me at least to touch the golden parts you have hidden so carefully. Lalita says, O rake, proud of your skill in teasing innocent girls, look, rejecting the king's toll, these clever gopis now playfully walk away. Go, call for your king of the gardens. Krishna says, my arms are strong. Why should I call for him? The Krishna lion can crush even an elephant's pride. How much effort must this lion expend to crush a herd of does? Radha says, what can this lion do when ferocious Sarafa beast Lalita stands before him? Krishna says, lotus-eyed girl, now you must decide. You are glorious like a Kalpalata wine that fulfills all desires. Again and again you are moved the great archer's bows of your eyebrows. Either pay the full toll or accompanied by your friends fight. Lalita says with a crooked glance, you are famous for your ability to fight. You crushed Sankachuda when he tried to kidnap the gopis. It is natural that you want to fight. Radha says, friends, we have rested enough. Our fatigue is now over. Let us pick up our butter pots and go. Krishna says, friend Subal, at once decorate the tall booth with these 5 pots. When that is done, I will personally take the 5th girl who is so fond of Punnaga flowers. Subala says, walking. Lalita, these heavy pots must be a great trouble for you to carry. I will carry them for you to the tall station. Then you can walk easily. Lalita says, glancing at him with a smile of contempt, to hell with you. O counselor to the king of cunning thieves, what male is so brave and fearless that he will even try to steal even a single blade of grass from Lalita, even as she sleeps? Subala says, hesitating, he turns back. Dear friend, I am only one person. How can I carry all 5 parts? Bring your friends and we will all carry them. Krishna says, friend, your name Subala or Subala means very strong. But in truth, you are very weak. You are frightened by Lalita's empty threats. Subala, with a playful smile. He says in an aside, "Dear friend, what is the use of your triumphant pride that exists only in words? Your great power has already been placed before my eyes. On the day when you were playing dice with Radha, she falsely decorated victory, and then Lalita stole your flute and hid your Kaustubha jewel, and then the smiling gopis all stared at you. You were completely terrified." Krishna. Krishna says, "Clever liar, be quiet. Who is this pathetic Lalita? She is like a banana tree trembling in the hurricane wind of my power." Lalita says, "Vishakha, you should bow down before your dear friend's brother Sridhama. He is a great yogi. By practicing prana yajna, he defeated the wind god and made the banana trees that are the gopis bloom with happiness." Vishakha says, smiling, "Lalita, you reminded me of something very glorious. I remembered our playful friend Vrinda smiling when she saw the dark cloud Krishna embraced by Sridhama under a banyan tree on Govardhana hill." Arjuna says, "Among us boys, which friend is not glorious? Which friend is bereft of glory? Oh, beautiful-eyed gopi girl swimming in arrogance, what is it to you whether we come or go? Please tell." Krishna says, glancing at Radha, "If after giving it careful thought in your heart, you do not wish to pay the gold coins, then please enter the mountain cave. A cave wonderful with pictures drawn in mineral colors." He steps in front of Radha. Lalita says, standing between Radha and Krishna, "Pray, listen to this." Thinking himself unworthy to attain the good fortune of touching her lotus feet, Radha's husband offers respectful obeisances to Radha from far away. In the middle of these words, Radha angrily stares at Lalita. Lalita says, "From childhood, not a single one of her limbs has known the slightest fragrance of any male. Eager to serve the glory of youth, becomes stunned with awe and cannot even touch Radha's limbs. My friend Radha is the queen of chaste girls. Any male who attempts even to glance at her is said to be the most bold and aggressive of men. How then can any male even think of touching her? Therefore, go away." All the girls smile. Madhumangala says, laughing, "Lalita, what is the use of all your proud talk? Ask your friend Radha." From Durvasa Muni's mouth, she heard how my dear friend was from childhood the most staunch of brahmacharis. Subala says, "Lalita, Madhumangala is the son of a great sage. You can believe all he says. My dear friend Krishna is fixed in a vow of celibacy. He is terrified of women." Arjuna says, "Yes, I know it well. Again and again I have seen him tremble in fear and the hairs of his body stand erect when he simply hears the tinkling of some girl's bracelets." Krishna says, smiling, "Lalita, your objection is not good. For when two people who share the same nature and the same goals enjoy the sweetness of staying together as friends, the goals they both vow to attain are easily reached." Radha says, giving Krishna a cricket glance from the corner of her eyes, she disdainfully turns away from him and says, "Rake, even when you try to be outrageous, you are not very good at it. Why must you again and again grind what is already ground into flour?" Krishna says aside, "Vrinda, look, look. Even though my joking words create in her a great festival of bliss, and even though she yearns to hear them again and again, Radha will not openly place her ears to hear them. Even though she mocks me with waves of cricket words, Radha pleases me 100 times more than my Gopa friends." Gently laughing, Radha clings to Lalita's neck. Lalita says, "Krishna, your glories are famous in Gokula. You are our prince. Therefore, we are inclined to remain silent about all this. However, if you cross the line of morality, how can we stay away from our prescribed duty?" Arjuna says, "What is the duty you would stay away from?" Lalita says, "Protecting Vṛndāvana from the Gopa boys. What other duty do we have?" With a mocking laugh, Arjuna shakes his head. Vishakha says, smiling, she approaches. Lalita, our dear friend Radha, the queen of Gokula's girls, has a command for us. Lalita says, what is it? Vishaka says, while they are busy taking care of the cows expert at trampling the grass and vines, all these arrogant Gopa boys fill their bellies with fruit and decorate themselves with flowers and buds. At this rate, they will soon destroy all of Vrindavan. You should tell them they must either stop or pay at all to compensate what they have done. Madhumangala says angrily, cricket talking girl, be quiet. If you don't be quiet, the offense you commit will not be slight. My dear friend's kindness to you is of no use now. He kindly and politely allowed you barbaric girls to enter Vrindavan. Oh well, lamenting it won't help. Champakalata says, polite and kind? It is you who are the barbarians. Without stopping to think, you talk nonsense. Lalita says, told 100 times, he does not hear. He sees, but he does not remember. Deprived of the two eyes that are the Shruti and Smriti Shastras, he is blind. Please don't speak badly of him. Vishaka says, friend Nandimukhi, do you remember the great coronation festival of our dear friend Radha? Nandimukhi says, Vishaka, who is this world has the power to forget that great festival? Chitra says, Nandimukhi, even though I saw it with my own eyes, my ears will yearn to hear of that great festival. Please tell of it. Nandimukhi says, Chitra, please listen. Vrinda went to Purnamasi and said, O Queen of Yoga, Radha should be crowned Queen of Vrindavan. For a disembodied voice from the sky, command this or us. Vrinda says aside, the voice from the sky was only a trick. It was Krishna who commanded me to tell these words to Purnamasi. Nandamukhi says, then called by austere Purnamasi, 5 goddesses came here. Arjuna says, who are they? Vrinda says, the first was the famous goddess that escaped Kamsa and flew into the sky. Then came the sun god's daughter and 2 wives. The 5th goddess was Manasaganga. Chitra. Then Nandamukhi says, then Chaya, the sun god's younger wife, said, noble Purnamasi, we cannot disobey your command. We place your command on our heads. Still, what is this small 32-mile kingdom of Vrindavan in comparison to the sublimely glorious girl Radha? Therefore, this coronation ceremony does not make my heart happy. Then Purnamasi glanced at Ekanamsha, and Ekanamsha spoke these words to glorify Vrindavan. Friend Chaya, please listen. O beautiful goddess, in Mathura Mandal shines a glory greater than the glory of the Vedas. Yajnas, mantras, holy places, austerities, Svargaloka, the demigods in Svargaloka, the Siddhas, the great sages, the Lord's spiritual potency of Chit Shakti, and the Lord's abode of Vaikuntha Loka. However, in Vṛndāvana shines a glory greater than even the glory of Mathura Mandala. Chitra says, then, Nandamukhi says, then seeing a shower of flowers fall from the demigods in the sky, everyone blossomed with happiness. Then Goddess Yamuna said, noble Purnamasi, you got to come, and carrying a splendid divine basket, my dear friend Goddess Saraswati shyly waits in the sky. Please invite her to come here. Requested by these words, Purnamasi respectfully called her. Then basket. Brahma's daughter Saraswati came there and opening the divine basket began to speak. Nandamukhi is interrupted. Vrinda says, eagerly interrupting Nandamukhi, she happily says, she said, through my hand Brahma's wife happily gives this lotus garland. Affectionate Sechi gives this gold tiara. Kuvera's wife gives these jewel ornaments. Varuna's wife gives this parasol. Vayu's wife gives these 2 chamaras. Swaha gives these 2 silk garments. And Dhumvarna gives this jewel mirror. Chitra says, then Vrinda says, then as the demigods in Swargaloka played many musical instruments, making a great sound that delighted all ears and filled the sky, and as Tumburu and the Gandharvas sang in the clouds, and as the Apsaras danced in the sky, the beautiful eyebrowed goddesses joyfully began the coronation ceremony of Sri Radha. She shyly glances at Nandimukhi. Chitra says, then, Nandimukhi says, then as Krishna watched on Purnamasi's order, these goddesses, accompanied by your friends and also by the goddesses of various sacred rivers that purify the worlds, placed Radha on a throne and with nectar water from jeweled pots performed the coronation ceremony and crowned Radha the queen of Vṛndāvana. Champakalata, the hairs of her body erect. Then, Nandimukhi says, then raising her hand, Saraswati said, my mother, Savitri, affectionately sends this fragrant garland. Hearing these words, Ekanansha took the garland and placed it around Krishna's neck. Goddess Yamuna then playfully said, aha, filled with love for their relatives, even the wise sometimes act without thinking of what is right. Hearing these words, Ekanansha said, Yamuna, how did I act without thinking of what is right? Hearing that, Yamuna said, Goddess, the garland was meant for our sister Radha. Why did you give it to your brother? Hearing that, Goddess Ekanansha laughed, took the beautiful, splendid and fragrant garland from Krishna's neck and placed it on the neck of our dear friend Radha and said, here, please take your garland. Krishna smiles. Vishaka said, then, Nandimukhi said, then saying, what is the use of a garland that has come close to such a hard heart? Saraswati laughed, cheerfully took the garland from Radha and placed it again around Krishna's charming neck. Lalita says, then taking musk from Krishna's chest, Ekanansha placed a tilaka marking on Radha. Vrinda joyfully says, then noble Purnamasi joyfully said, O joyful blossoming trees, please enjoy pastimes with your wives, the vines that climb on your limbs. O birds, please join with the bees and make a place of happy pastimes. O bees, please make everything very charming. For, accompanied by her friends, who are the generals in command of her great armies, and appointing the gardener Vrinda, her glorious prime minister, Śrīmatī Rādhā now rules your country. She is stunned with bliss. Then the Kunda wine, Kundalata pushed out 100 birds. The Suman wine, Chitra pushed out a host of wonderful sprouts. The graceful Navamallika wine of Lalita smiled with a host of flowers beginning to open. And the Champaka wines of Champakalata and Vishaka fully blossomed with many flowers. Lalita says, Nandimukhi, you forgot what Goddess Yamuna said then? Nandimukhi says, how could I forget her words to us? She said, from this day forward, our dear friends headed by Lalita may happily pick any flowers they wish in this pastime forest. Hearing those words, Ekanansha said, still the glory of these abundant flowers always depends on the springtime of Krishna. Vrinda says, glancing at Radha, she joyfully says, we cannot forget how Goddess Ekanansha decorated your forehead with pictures and designs drawn in fragrant ointments, or how Chaya decorated you with a crown of flowers, or how Samgna and her friends carefully decorated your braided hair, or how the two celestial rivers, Manas Ganga and Yamuna, fanned you with chamaras, or how Saraswati held the jeweled parasol above you. Radha says bashfully, Vrinda, please stop. Krishna says aside, yearning to see her, I fixed my eyes on her. Radha says, but then, bashful in the presence of the goddesses, I bowed my head. When I suddenly saw Radha reflected in the Kaustubha jewel on my chest, I was so overcome with joy, I stumbled and almost fell to the ground. Subala stays aside. Arjuna, the site of Radha's coronation is called Unmada Radha by the people, for their Radha was filled with joy. Madhumangala says, aside, Dear friend, I remember everything. These gopis are not proud for no reason. Radha says, Friend Vrunda, calculate the forest stall for 8 years. Vrunda says, smiling, O Queen of Vṛndāvana, the great number of cows and cowherd boys are beyond counting. Why should I make a great effort to calculate their numbers? Lalita says, O Vishakha, the Queen of Vṛndāvana gives this command. Seize by force the jewel ornaments of this Brahmana boy who thinks he is so clever. Madhumangala says, aside, O dear friend, it will be very difficult for us to counter their words. The only solution for us is to run away. Krishna says, O dog staying in a cow barn and barking at everyone, don't be afraid of getting hit by Lalita's stick. The Sudarshan Chakra now stands before you. Radha says, gently embracing Krishna with a sidelong glance, Subala, enough with your shameless arrogance. Please pay the toll for walking in the forest. Krishna says, smiling, he glances at Radha. You may be the queen of one forest, but he the king of 12 forests. Your realm is small, but his realm is all that exists in all the worlds. You are a small princess under his dominion, but he is the great emperor Kamadeva. Therefore, O Radha, please hear what is good for you. Don't try to force him to pay this toll. Vishaka says, O Subala, that may be. The king of the gardens may have appointed him toll collector. Still, how does that free him from having to pay the toll in our dear friend's forest? Subala says angrily, Vishaka, you are a fool. You stagger about like a wild girl in a daze. You talk on and on, even though you know nothing of the truth. Vishaka says with a sarcastic smile, what is the truth? Tell it, I will listen. Subala says, why should I give a big explanation with many details? I will just tell the essence of it. Please listen. Please know that the great King Kamadeva has now assumed the form of my dear friend Krishna. They are not different persons. Arjuna says, Vishaka, even that is only a small part of his glory. Listen, who is the person that will not find the great giant of his pride turned into a dwarf by the unprecedented, charming, sweet, ever now festival of our dear friend Krishna's being crowned king of all of Gokula, a festival that shines above all others. Madhumangala says, delighted, O Lalita, Arjuna speaks well. The Upanishads affirm that these forests are Krishna's forests. Vrinda says, philosophers learned in logic know a more recent command takes precedence over a previous command. When a new king is crowned, who pays attention to the previous king? Madhumangala says, stop talking so much. Our dear friend Krishna is the king of this forest. Therefore you, the toll-paying citizens, should give all honor to us, the royal entourage. You should offer us many sweet jalebi candies. Krishna says, friend Subal, please decorate the dark forest grove that bears the name Shajnala Mandapika. There we will keep these girls who for their failure to pay the toll have now become our slaves. Radha says, Shajnala Mandapika is the sacred place where my dear friend Shajnala followed austere religious vows. Why will you desecrate it by turning into a place for collecting tolls? Krishna says, O queen of cricket girls, what does it matter how the circle of Radha's royal power turns? Kamadeva, the king of bowmen, a bowman so great he easily hits the most difficult of targets, even hitting the target of others' hearts, has now come to this place where tolls are collected. Radha says, O boy, who tastes the nectar of the flute, you are crooked in 3 ways, in your beginning, middle, and end. Your sweet flute music devastates the world. That is why you are the king of the crooked. That is why you have become like Lord Shiva. Krishna slightly smiling, I bow down before you, who are crooked in 8 places, in your words, hair, eyebrows, glances, smiles, walking, veil, and heart. In this way, you have become like Ashtavakra Muni. Champakalata says, even though it is not easy to see how you are crooked in 100,000 ways. Therefore, you should enjoy pastimes with a person crooked like you are. Therefore, it is right that we straight and pure girls should leave this place. Krishna says, saintly girl, without first paying the toll, you will find it very difficult to leave this place. Champakalata, saintly persons may travel any path they wish. Everyone knows that. Chitra says, O best of men, you are glorified by many poetic verses. We are in the midst of performing a great religious ritual. Please let us go. Krishna says, Chitra, this king acts in a surprising way. Persons who perform religious rituals find it very difficult to attain liberation. But persons who simply desire to be with him very easily attain liberation. Nandimukhi says, that is not against the views of the sages that authored the scriptures. For in the list of the 4 goals of life, they placed desire next to liberation. Religious rituals they placed at the beginning, far away. Krishna says, smiling, he looks at Radha. O girl, purchased for the price of the toll, now your goal in life will be to please your master. Now you should please the great king of the toll collectors by serving him as he wishes. Lalita says, O charming boy, it is only after performing great austerities that a girl can attain the perfection of being this toll collector's maid servant. Because she never performs austerities, my friend Radha will find this perfection very difficult to attain. Nandimukhi says, O boy, like an elephant playing in a forest, Lalita says that it is you, the toll collector, who in many ways should serve our friend Radha, the queen of the circle of all beautiful girls. What is the use of all that you may say that is different? Krishna says, delighted, Nandimukhi, Lalita's order may not be disobeyed. Therefore, wishing to serve, I will begin by placing these 5 blossoming twigs on the golden pot on her chest. He approaches Radha. Lalita says, knitting her eyebrows, she approaches Krishna. Oh boy, who think yourself very clever. This vine of mischief should not grow any taller than it is. Krishna says, Oh miserly girl, you have already sold me this free girl. The girl independent like an elephant. She is the payment for the toll. You have already sold me the elephant. Why must you quarrel over the goad that controls the elephant? Slowly, slowly he walks. Lalita says, Krishna, you are not unaware how harsh and difficult Lalita can be. Why are you trying to show how great you are? Krishna says, Oh girl, who think yourself very brave and strong, look, the king of all who are powerful now walks before you. Enough with this useless arrogance, this make-believe snake that will break only the weakest of eunuchs. Pay the toll at once. Lalita, O bell ringer of the toll collectors, if you insist on collecting the toll, then come to our doors at sunset, and we will give you some buttermilk good and thick. We will give you some buttermilk good and thick. Nandimukhi says, Lalita, is there no buttermilk at the home of Krishna? Krishna, who is the king of the gopas? Krishna, who is the master of 1 billion cows, that he must go to your house to get some? Krishna says, Radha with beautiful large eyes, don't put your hopes in Lalita's pretended stone wall of arrogant words. Don't think you can escape paying this toll. I will come close and tell you a secret. He tries to place his hand on Radha's breast. Lalita says, Thief who tries to rob an unattainable fruit in Lalita's presence, even the fragrant breeze cannot touch the edge of Radha's bodice. That you try to place your hand there proves you are a fool. Krishna says, Ferocious girl, what will you gain by trying to attack this coiling black snake? If it so much as hisses, you will fall unconscious. Lalita says, What will you gain by trying to frighten us in this pathetic way? Expert in casting spells, the snake charmer Lalita stands here. Now that black snake cannot even raise its hood. Krishna says, Nandimukhi, tall collectors are generally happy telling lies. My hand, honest. My tongue turns away from violence. Since this is so, how can these girls be blamed for their arrogant opposition to me? Lalita says with a playful smile, how can your lips speak a lie? Purified by tasting the nectar lips of 1,000 saintly girls, your lips have become great saints. How can your hands do anything violent? So filled with love they are, your hands cannot bear that beautiful eyebrowed girls be imprisoned, even by their knotted sashes, what to speak of any other person. Krishna says, slightly laughing, Lalita, in truth you are the crest jewel of all girls who follow saintly vows. Attracted by I, the mantra of your good fortune, noble Purnamasi's assistant Nandimukhi is here. Lalita says, Nandimukhi, noble Purnamasi has vowed always to protect you. Run far away. What will this Krishna do to us? That we will now see. Nandimukhi says, Lalita, you are in great danger. You have fallen into the hands of the king of violent thugs. I am your friend. I cannot leave you now. Arjuna says, Dear friend, have you forgotten how the king of gardens commanded us? If any arrogant girls refuse to pay the toll, bring them to me at once. Krishna says, delighted, it is good that Arjuna reminded me. Lalita, your gopi friends and my gopa friends will stay here at the toll station, and you and I will leave. We will make the flesh of our eyes swim in the flowing Ganga of gazing at the great king of gardens. Lalita says, Saintly Krishna, crest jewel of all who are praised in eloquent words, any girl who follows you alone in a secluded place certainly protects the good reputations of her mother's and father's families. Krishna says, what is the use of all this elaborate talking? I will simply take the toll payment by force. He approaches Radha. Lalita says with a sarcastic smile, Delicate young boy, we really believe that you are brave enough to try and touch Radha's body here in the courtyard of my eyes. The gopi who is a strict moralist and who is famous by the name Lalita stands here, eager to see you try it. Go ahead, show your power. Krishna says, slightly smiling, O great goddess Durga, I offer obeisances to you. O ferocious goddess, I offer obeisances to you. To kill the god of love, you have put aside your garland of severed heads and assumed the form of this gopi. Vishaka says, Friend Lalita, now you may defeat him. Lalita says, smiling, she says in an aside, the pastimes of playful talk will now come to an end. Now I will take the divine couple to a holy place and make them swim in the flood of nectar. They so yearn to enter. Openly she says, Vishaka, please go and tell noble Purnamasi that we are being teased and mocked. Nandimukhi says aside, hiding in this grove of Madhavi vines, noble Purnamasi has seen and heard of everything. Openly she says, Lalita, noble Purnamasi now stands by Radha's side. Radha says, smiling playfully, she says in an aside, Lalita, you love me more than you love your own self. To rescue me from this tall collector, you are willing even to give yourself away. That I saw today with my own eyes. For that you are glorious. Lalita says, O devoted worshipper of the sun god, O great poet, I am expert only in battle of words, but you are ferocious in battles of Kamadeva's arrows. Please be kind. Stay here for a while and shoot arrows of sidelong glances at this boy, who thinks himself a great hero. We will go ahead and wait for you. Radha says with affectionate anger, Go, O girl expert at hiding your true intention. Go. Soon I will see you again. Krishna says aside, I see that Lalita's anger is pacified. Openly he says, "Well done, Lalita, well done. You know what is appropriate. Stopping this needless bad debate, you will peacefully stay at the tall station." Lalita says, "Boy expert at ferocious playing. The Gopa boys play only by fighting each other with sticks. The Gopi girls are not like them. The Gopis know how to play in a civilized way." Vishaka says, agitated, "Lalita, there is a great danger, a danger." Lalita says, "What is it?" Vishaka says, "Oh girl, who in your eagerness to quarrel has forgotten your duty? Stop. The Brahmana performing the yajna said that us girls carrying the butter should even cast a glance at any lusty man who likes to pollute respectable girls, placing her forefinger by her nose. Shame, shame. You spent a long time wildly gossiping with this cowhead boy." Lalita said with regret, "Vishaka, what you say is right. Bewildered, I forgot everything. Think of some atonement I can perform." Vrinda says, smiling, "The sages say that meditation on the Supreme Lord Vishnu destroys all sins. Therefore, you should meditate on him." Touching her nose and ears, Lalita chants the name Vishnu. Krishna says, smiling, "Lalita, you are indeed dirty with sin. Come here at once. I will make you so that sin no longer touches you." Approaching, he embraces her. Lalita says, horrified, she moves back. "Alas, alas! I, a respectable girl, am now polluted by the touch of the ferocious rake, fond of polluting others' wives." Radha says, smiling, "Lalita, get away from us. You are polluted by the touch of this rake." Lalita says, "Aha! As a joke, I told a lie. How can the snake of this rake's arms have the power to actually touch a person like me, the crest jewel, the Sikhandini bird of saintly girls devoted to their husbands?" Radha says, "Liar, I know. Stop it. Standing erect, the hairs of your body bear witness against you." Lalita says, "Alas, what they say of me is the truth. Now that you have polluted me, my friends will no longer even touch me. There is a saying, 5 persons with the same suffering lament together and make the pain go away. Now you may show the truth of that saying." Krishna says, "O flower vine Champakalata, here is a tamala tree whose branches scratch the clouds. Embrace it and find yourself burst into flowers." Champakalata says, trembling, she steps back a little. "Pray, pollute Lalita again. I have heard it said, she who is already fallen cannot fall down." "Lalita, perhaps I will soon see my dear friend Vishaka decorated with 5 long hot fingers." Krishna says, "Vishaka, embrace this tamala tree and sit in its shade. Don't break your good fortune as Champakalata has." Vishaka says, quickly withdrawing, "Polluted Lalita, who do you try to prove the saying? A wicked, shameless person pollutes others? Your intention is clear. What is the use of trying to trick us? By the grace of God, as we girls worry, you have now become the perfect girl to be given away in place of paying the toll. Withdrawing a little, Lalita casts a crooked glance at Krishna from the corners of her eyes. Krishna says, smiling, he yearns to embrace Radha. "O girl with trembling limbs, pushed by the great wind of Lalita's crooked glances, I find that the budding twigs of my fingers now tremble. At this moment, please don't pretend to be angry when you place your eyes on gentle me." Radha says, frightened. She hides behind Vishaka. "Friend, now you should protect yourself. For it is said that if Radha is polluted, then Vishaka is polluted also." Lalita, "O Radha, when you are chased by a cruel hunter by the crown of a wicked and violent, why do you turn away from the lioness and take shelter of a dove? Decorate my lap and your fears will flee away." Radha says, with many playful frowns, she pretends to rebuke Lalita. Then, with a playful smile, she says, "O girl, who breaks the trust we place in you? For a long time you troubled us. You took us pure girls away from our homes. You came because we trusted you. Then, pushed by lust and greed, you broke your own vow, and now you stand with tears in your eyes. O goddess, are you not ashamed to try to pollute our saintly girls? Lalita says, alas, alas, how will I be purified? Friend Vrunda, please tell me. Vrunda says, Lalita, why do you worry? How is it possible that you have committed a sin? After all, in the holy place of this forest grove, we have now begun to observe the religious vow. I have an all-night vigil to worship Kamadeva. Krishna says, eager to play, I have been slow about my duty. Now I must work again to collect the toll. Nandimukhi says, Lalita, look, noon is coming. Say how much you think we should pay for the toll. Lalita says, O king of the toll collectors, 5 coins is a fair payment. Still, when I look at your face, I think I will agree to give you this jewel ring. Taking the ring from Chitra's finger, she gives it to him. Krishna says, pretending to be angry, friend, throw this worthless ring on top of Govardhana hill. Pretending to throw it, Subala hides the ring in his hand. Lalita says angry, Vrunda, you saw how the rare jewel ring was thrown away? Nandimukhi says, friend, your action is like throwing a small coin into the respectfully extended hand of Kuvera, the master of 9 great treasures, in hopes of getting a precious Chintamani jewel in return. Lalita says aside, with a hint, I will reassure Radha and Krishna, who yearn to enjoy pastimes together. She walks about and then says in an aside, Radha, it will be difficult for us to leave without paying the toll. We'll pay the toll with your necklace. She takes the necklace almost as if by force, and then says with a playful smile, anxious girl, why are you so unsettled? The pearl necklace is your messenger to Krishna. It is given to decorate him. Now make yourself ready for a lover's meeting with him in a secluded place. Radha says, oh girl eager to enjoy, what is the use of this pretended seriousness? In the great yajna that is dispute over a toll payment, even though you are not gentle by nature, out of love for your friends you have been made gentle. Even though you have nothing to give as payment for the toll, out of love for your friends you now offer yourself as the payment. Lalita says, glancing at Krishna, O master of the toll gate, this priceless pearl necklace is given as collateral. When gold is given to you in the evening, please return the necklace. Krishna says, happily accepting the necklace, he says aside, the central jewel in this necklace is the crest jewel taken from Sankachuda, a jewel that Balarama kindly gave to Radha. This jewel makes the seed of my hope place forth a great sprout. He decorates his neck with the necklace. Radha says aside, Lalita, look at the good fortune that pearl necklace has attained. That necklace must have performed many great austerities. Lalita says, having first served your breast, this saintly necklace now enjoys pastimes on Krishna's chest. How can anyone describe your great glory? Radha says, oh crooked girl, why must you talk like that? Look at the fortunate pastimes of that forest garland, dark with many bees. Oh forest garland, why do you day and night hate us pure doe-eyed girls? Considering us less important than blades of grass, you decorate Krishna's body from head to foot. You enjoy pastimes on Krishna's broad chest. Madhumangala says, Blessed Lalita, the king of the toll gate is pleased with you. Now this hungry accountant can enjoy this pot heavy with butter. Now he will be happy in his body. Vishaka says, greedy boy, don't talk like that. That butter is meant for a yajna. Madhumangala says, Vishaka, the Yagnika Brahmanas who, forgetting the Angirasa Yagna, fed all the gopas with many delicious food from their own homes, became very fortunate. You girls, however, will not feed even one Brahmana with some butter from others' homes, food meant for a Yagna. Krishna says, Lalita, you did well to give that necklace as a gift to the king of the toll gate. Now please give your attention to paying the toll demanded by the king of gardens. Lalita says with love and anger, I know you, it's not wrong for you to tease us. Nandimukhi says, O great king of toll collectors, please tell me the minimum toll they must pay, so I will know how to act when they haggle over the amount. Krishna says, Nandimukhi, listen, you are an associate of noble Purnamasi. What more need I say to you? That all I ask is 100,000 trillion coins. If you say that you do not have so many coins, what can I do? Give to me the best girl, and the others may go free. Nandimukhi says, O bull of passionate boys, Chitra will please your heart. She will be given at the toll payment. Krishna says, Chitra is already in my hand, so she is not hard to get. Purnamasi enters. Purnamasi says, Gentle boy on whose head gentle girls place a crown, you may very well desire this girl, but please know that she is valuable beyond price. She cannot be bought even by 100,000 trillion coins. Krishna says, embrace, he offers respects. Noble lady, I only wish to collect the toll. I do not wish to get your gopis worth perhaps a single coin each. Radha says, Noble lady, now that you have come, we can see by God's grace the farther shore of this ocean of sufferings. Purnamasi says aside, O girl with the slender waist, you agitated, sharp-tongued, inflamed with pride girls, eager for a quarrel, stubbornly refuse to pay this toll to the king of toll collectors, a king who rules as the only god in the whole forest circle. Why would you not have fallen into an ocean of sufferings? Lalita says, Noble lady, look, we gave him that rare necklace and still we are not set free. Purnamasi says, Lalita, look, the red dye of this pretended quarrel has reddened the silk cloth that is Krishna's heart. That is why peacock feather crowned Krishna is so hostile to you. As long as he does not get his beloved, Krishna will remain stubborn and arrogant. Nandamukhi says, Noble lady, please order us. Which of us must bear this burden? Purnamasi, O girl with the lotus eyes, the girl among you five who is the most able to please him should be given to Krishna. Slightly smiling, Lalita casts a sidelong glance at Radha. Worried, Radha clings to Vrinda's neck. Vrinda, O noble lady, the slender-waisted girl says, O all-knowing one, the girls gave wonderfully clever Lalita the task of protecting them in this grave danger. O noble lady, Lalita now stands before you. She awaits your order. Lalita says, smiling, when the jewel of the heart is already taken, what is the use of any further struggle? Purnamasi says, what Lalita says is not wrong. Radha says, speaking up, Noble lady, please be kind, be kind. In this dangerous situation, please don't make this frightened gentle person become a toll payment placed in the hands of that harsh toll collector. What horrible incurable disease did I get by touching that great black snake that lives in a cave in a garden on Govardhana hill? No longer have I the power to know what is good and what is not good. Simply by glancing at me, that snake has made me as good as dead. Why do you wish to throw me to him? Pretending to weep with the dry tears, she falls at her feet. Purnamasi says, embracing her with both arms, Child, don't cry. All will be good at the end. Krishna says, Noble lady, I am truly fortunate that you came at this, the right moment. I have decided to pay this toll myself. Purnamasi says aside, O great treasure of handsomeness, this jewel of beautiful girls will now decorate your neck. What do you care about this pretty toll? Krishna says joyfully in an aside, by good fortune, noble Purnamasi has given Radha as the payment of the toll. Openly he says, O noble lady, only by walking on the path of your mercy have I found this jewel of a beautiful girl. a jewel effulgent with the moonlight of sweet and passionate love. There is no other way I could have found this jewel. Vṛndāvana says with a playful smile, O king of gentle boys, I think of her as a Chintamani jewel. But to you, she is a Kintamani, a jewel of a beautiful girl. Krishna says, bashful, now my words may rest from their efforts. O Nandimukhi, O companion of noble Purnamasi, it is by your wise counsel that I have attained the touch of the most beautiful of all girls. Purnamasi says with a playful smile, O great teacher of clever pastimes, why should this pastime of teasing her continue? Now that you have the Chintamani jewel of a girl I gave, you will certainly find the Kantamani jewel of a beloved you seek. When the dawn comes, the sun will not fail to fill the sky with light. Now your desire is fulfilled. Vrinda says, on the full moon night, how can the moon be only a crescent? Purnamasi says, Vrinda, in the springtime, the full moon night is very charming, when the moon and the star Radha are together. Vrinda says, it is the same on the full moon night of the month of Vishakha. Purnamasi says, O moon effulgent with playful skill, I promise you, this evening I will give you the tall payment you desire. For now, please allow these girls to go to the yajna. Krishna says, bashful, as the noble lady commands. Purnamasi says, O personification of all bliss, although these pastimes are very pleasing to my heart, there is one thing I wish to ask of you. Krishna says, delighted, Noble lady, command me at once. What may I do to please you? Purnamasi says, a request made at the right moment will always bear its fruit. Therefore, I now ask, O playful friend, O juster Krishna, please enjoy glorious tall pastimes with Radha and her friends in this place eternally. Also, O Krishna, whose graceful steps and glistening playful sidelong glances fill Vṛndāvana forest with glory, please make fruitful the tree of desires that grow from persons who, renouncing all other work, live in a cottage in Radha's forest and yearn to serve you and Radha directly in this holy place. Krishna says, happily agreeing, noble lady, so be it. Come, let's go each to his own duty. Exit all. Epilogue. May this flower garland of a one-act play, a garland I created on his order, decorate for a moment the neck of my dear friend. Staying on Nandisra Hill, I wrote this one-act play in the year Shaka 1471, and he passed away in the 1549. Thus ends Sri Dana-keli-kaumudi. So that's the end of this book. And before concluding, we are going to sing a song written by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, which is called let me see, prayer here. It's called Krishna Premamayi Radha, and it starts with, and it's called Yogalashtakam. So we are going to sing this song, which is written by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. It's called Yogalashtakam. We'll just be singing the Sanskrit ones. Krishna Premamayi Radha, Radha Premamayo Hari, Krishna Premamayi Radha, Radha Premamayo Hari, Jivane Nidhane Nicham, Radha Krishna Gatir Krishnasya Dravinam Radha Radhaya Dravinam Hari Jivane Thane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Krishna Pranamayi Radha Radha Pranamayo Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Krishna Dravamayi Radha Radha Dravamayo Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Krishna Gehe Stita Radha Radha Gehe Stito Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Krishna Chitta Sthita Radha Radha Chitta Sthito Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Nilambara Dhara Pītāmbara Dharo Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Vṛndāvaneshwari Radha Krishna Vṛndāvaneshwara Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatirma Krishna Premamayi Radha Radha Premayo Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Gatirma Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Dev Jaya Jaya, Gurudev. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, श्री श्री रूप गोस्वामी की जय, and Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Sri Dana-keli-kaumudi ki jai, Sri Yugalastakam ki jai. So thank you very much again for joining today's reading. This concludes the part 2 of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's book, Sri Dana-keli-kaumudi, and we hope that you will be able to join us in our further readings. Thank you once again. Hare Krishna.